Woo! We are back in the building. We should be looking all crispy and clean on the screen. Y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you can see me. We're gonna get back into it. Hopefully y'all are doing well, and welcome. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream. I'm your host, ClassE of patreon.com/ClassEbeats. By the way, the link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment and chat. And we're gonna get into it, y'all. I know we're used to having this show in the morning. It's been one of those days. It's okay, but y'all know we don't miss. We're up in the building, ready to go. Before I get into the show, we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna talk about what's going on with the recent Diddy trial and the Department of Justice firing one of the prosecutors. Insane. We're going to talk about Maurene Comey. We've got some updates there, as well as trying to figure out what in the world is the real story with this Karen Reed grand jury, this grand juror. I'm hearing so many things. It's absolutely insane, but we're going to go ahead and get into it here in a second. Before I do, I got to say what's up to the people, man. Y'all know what time it is. My awesome, amazing Amy is in the building. Shout out to Amy, always being in here, always supporting, always showing love. We've got Taco Tuesday in the building. We've got A Fitz is up in here too. Let me make sure this is good. There we go. A Fitz is in here. Les Cleaver, my guy. Stokes is in here. Trisha is in the building. We've got Bonnie. Cat Not Williams is up in here. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Cat Not Williams. We've also got Amanda Robinson. Sharon's in here. Libby22 SC Girls in the building as well. Welcome, y'all. Now, I do not ask for much on this show, but the one thing I do ask is that you guys like the video on your way in. If you could, please make sure you like the video. I'm going to be begging for likes until I'm no longer on YouTube. And even then, I might be doing it just out of habit. I see someone on the street say, hey, have you liked the video? Sir, have you liked the video? Ma'am, you liked the video? So again, y'all, it's free. It takes less than a second. It really helps the channel continue to grow. It lets the algorithm know you guys are enjoying the show, shares the video and the channel out with more people as well. Also, if you're feeling super generous, you can go over to the share button and you can share out the live stream as well. I'm actually doing it right now because I forgot to do it earlier. Even I need to be reminded, right? So I'm sharing this right now over on X. If y'all don't follow me on X, make sure you do that. And if you want to share it, you can click the share button. You can share the live stream out with your family and friends in your group chat. You can share it on X. You can share it on, I don't know, Instagram, wherever you are, Facebook. Y'all share the video, and I appreciate those of you who went the extra step and did that as well. So many of you guys do, and I see it shared on X and other places. So thank y'all. Secondly, and lastly, I should say, I got to say thank you to everyone who sends in super chats. So many of you go the extra mile and show some love by sending super chats. So thank you again. Those of you who are in here consistently, like my guy Les Cleaver in the building, he says, blessings to all wherever you are. God loves you and always will. Amen. Amen to that, Les Cleaver. It's hot here in Arkansas. Shout out to Arkansas. Please stay safe, free, and cool. Love y'all. Shout out to my guy Les Cleaver, one of the hardest working dudes in the community. We've also got Amy in here. Y'all know she don't miss gifting the 5 memberships. If you got a membership from Amy, do the right thing, guys. Make sure you say thank you. You show Amy some love. Not only is she giving you a chance to have your name highlighted and looking all pretty and green, but you get instant access as a member to any videos that we drop here on the channel. And you get other benefits as well. You've got custom emojis you can use, and you can check out our members only content. So big shout out to Amy, showing love, gifting 5 memberships. Y'all say thank you if you got a membership from Amy. All right. She's also dropping the cake in here, reminding me I have not had lunch today. But we're going to get to it. Amy's always bringing the cake, the most amazing cake bringer there is. Thank you, Amy, for that. And I know we're going to get lunch handled. Don't you worry. Shout out to Amy. All right. So I think we have everybody in here. Alice is in here as well. If y'all could do me a favor, shout out to Kara in the building as well. Let people know as they're joining to like the video, because again, I say that, I'm gonna say it over and over. It really does help us out. Also, I made some updates on my side. I know over the past couple of days, we've been having issues with the stream lagging. I should be good. So if you guys could, let me know what you think in the chat. If you're still seeing a little bit of lag, or if there's some issues, y'all please let me know, because I want to make sure that we get this fixed. All right. So we are going to go ahead and get into our first topic, which is like breaking news. A little bit of breaking news. Let me double check and make sure we're good here. Yep, I got y'all in here. All right, here we go. So when it comes to what's been going on with this Diddy trial, and actually, let me do it this way. We're going to try this a different way. Let me see if we can get that. There we go. So when it comes to this Diddy trial, there's been a lot of news and some recent news when it comes to some of the prosecutors that were handling this Diddy trial. I guess it's still going on, but as we recently found out, that Maurene Comey was fired from her job by the Department of Justice. Now, it's funny to see how this is being spun. A lot of people are saying that Trump fired her. I think this may be directed to some of the cases that she was involved in. One, namely this Diddy trial. So we're going to get into it, find out what actually happened, possibly why she was fired and let go. And then she actually wrote a letter to her colleagues and letting people know why she's possibly in the position she is in now. Absolutely insane. Here we go.
And welcome back here. It's Live now from Fox. I'm Andrew Kraft. Some breaking news to report to you out of New York City. Live picture there over New York Harbor. You can see there the Statue of Liberty live picture. I want to put this up, a headline there from the New York Post. Take a look at this. Maurene Comey, the daughter of the ex-FBI director James Comey, has been fired from the U.S. Attorney's Office there in the Southern District of New York. Crazy. Remember, she just worked on the Diddy trial. She also has worked on the Epstein case. The Associated Press has it as follows, that the DOJ has fired Maurene Comey. Now, she is the daughter, like I said, of James Comey. She was a prosecutor in the federal cases against Sean Diddy Combs and Jeffrey Epstein. That's according to two people familiar with the matter telling the AP that today.
Yes, and a lot of people didn't know she was involved in the Epstein trial. Epstein trial, whatever you want to call it.
There was no specific reason, though, given for her firing from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York. Now, her termination comes shortly after she prosecuted Combs, who was acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering charges. The rapper was convicted of those lesser prostitution-related offenses. Remember, he'll be sentenced in October. Now, the DOJ recently appeared to acknowledge the existence of an investigation into James Comey, though the basis for that inquiry is unclear. Remember, he was abruptly fired by President Trump in Trump's first term in 2017. So this might be news to you. Maybe you don't even know. James Comey has a daughter who worked in the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York on very high-profile cases, like the Sean Diddy Combs case, like the Epstein saga. So she was an assistant prosecutor there in the office. Remember, that was one of the office's most costly prosecutions, and they, according to our legal experts, really came up short. This was a very expensive prosecution, and they did not get a conviction on the most serious charges for Diddy. Remember those charges of sex trafficking and
And one of the biggest things for me, you guys remember that the defense didn't even have to call a witness. This still shocks me to this day. In a federal trial, you're going against someone who has a 98% success rate, and you're not even going to call a witness. Do y'all know I don't want to say that, but y'all know the confidence you have to do that? And of course, they had a dream team up there, and they saw it through. It's absolutely amazing. It's almost like Maurene, she just got the short end of the stick on this one. I don't know if she lost a bet or something, but why would you even take this case? It's sad, man.
He was acquitted on those charges, though Diddy, remember, was convicted of lesser prostitution-related offenses.
Yeah.
So Maurene Comey worked on that case. If you were following our coverage of the Diddy trial, and we had that static shot, that camera angle, that vantage point outside the doors of the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan, you would, from time to time, when court was over for the day, see the prosecutors walk out and go home. I remember watching live, seeing Maurene Comey walk out with some of her colleagues after trial was done for the day. Now, the Associated Press has it as follows. There was no specific reason given for her firing. So the AP and others will have to do some more reporting on that, on whether or not this was, warranted, for cause, what? Why was she fired?
It's a good question.
So remember, just last week we brought you the news. The DOJ appeared to acknowledge the existence of an investigation into her father, James Comey, though the basis for that inquiry is unclear. Remember, the DOJ also acknowledging that they were investigating former CIA director as well, James Brennan.
All right, so now we're wondering what possibly could have happened. Well, it looks like Maurene's going to maybe tell us what was going on and why she could have been let go. Let's check out this article from MSNBC, and they're actually going to quote the letter from Maurene Comey and see what she had to say. Read Epstein prosecutor Maurene Comey's letter to colleagues after the DOJ firing. And a quote from her letter says, "Fear is the tool of a tyrant," wrote the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey, a frequent target of President Trump. So she thinks she's getting in trouble because of what her father did. Interesting. Fired federal prosecutor Maurene Comey sent an email Thursday morning to her former colleagues at the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office, warning that it's becoming harder for them to do their jobs without fear. Oh, here we go already. Lady, you failed. You failed out your job. And I guess if she was involved in the Epstein trial, I mean, maybe she failed there too. I don't know. It seems like they got a conviction out of that, right? She was involved there, fine. She was involved in this case with Diddy. You failed. It was embarrassing. And you're gonna say it's hard for you to do your job without fear? Oh man. Okay, I'll keep going. Let me give it a chance. In the email, Comey, the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey, a frequent target of President Trump, said the Trump Justice Department fired her with no explanation a day earlier. She has prosecuted some of the city's highest profile cases, including the one involving Jeffrey Epstein and his associate Ghislaine. I always say Giselle. I don't know how to say her name. G. Maxwell, as well as Sean Diddy Combs. If a career prosecutor can be fired without reason, most people can. Fear may seep into the decisions of those who remain, she wrote. Do not let that happen. Fear is the tool of a tyrant, wielded to suppress independent thought. Guys, I'm going to ask y'all in the comments in the chat, do you really think that's what's going on here? I don't believe in coincidences, so maybe there is something there. But the fact that she just completely failed during this Diddy trial, you don't think that has something to do with it? Or are we just going to blame her father and Trump? I don't know. Maybe there's something there. I don't know. I want to know what y'all think about this in the comments in the chat. They go on to say the email was first reported by Politico. MSNBC legal correspondent Lisa Rubin obtained the email from a source who received it directly from Comey. All right, here we go. Here's the full email. She says, yesterday was unexpectedly my last day in the office. I was summarily fired via memo from Maine Justice that did not give a reason for my termination. Every person lucky enough to work in this office constantly hears 4 words to describe our ethos: without fear or favor. Do the right thing, the right way, for the right reasons, without fear of retribution and without favor to the powerful. For the majority of my nearly 10 years in the Southern District of New York, fear was never really conceivable. We don't fear bad press. We have the luxury of exceptional security, keeping us physically safe. And so long as we did our work with integrity, we would get to keep serving the public in this office. Our focus was really on acting without favor. That is, making sure people with access, money, and power were not treated differently than anyone else. Do y'all think that happens? I'm sorry, Maurene. I want to let you finish your email. But we saw the charges in this case. We saw how you guys handled this case against Diddy specifically. We saw that maybe you're doing the opposite of favor. Maybe you were trying to bring Diddy down because he has what you said in your email, because he has access, because he has money, because he has power, because you gave immunity to everybody included in this trial. especially his right-hand woman, Cassie, who was involved in some of the trafficking you were alleging. So you're going to say all this and make these statements. How does it apply to even your most recent case? What? I don't get what she's saying. But she says, that is making sure people with access, money, and power were not treated differently than anyone else. And making sure this office remains separate from politics and focus only on the facts and the law. If that were the case, Diddy would have never had a federal indictment. Anyone else who's participating in the type of activity he's participating in, and we know that there are several people who do, would not have been charged like this. It's because he was successful. He was charged this way. What is she talking about? But we have entered a new phase where without fear may be the challenge. If a career prosecutor can be fired without reason, fear may seep into the decisions of those who remain. Do not let that happen. Fear is the tool of a tyrant, wielded to suppress independent thought. Instead of fear, let this moment fuel the fire that already burns at the heart of this place. A fire of righteous indignation at abuses of power, of commitment to seek justice for victims, of dedication to truth above all else. It has been an honor to fight for those principles by your side, Maurene. Okay, shout out to Maurene. Poor Maurene. Dang, that's tough. Nothing about this most recent trial she had showed that she was showing favor to one side or the other, right? It was all about the victims. Ugh.
Stop the cap.
I don't know. Y'all have to let me know what you think about this. Is there something there when it comes to her father having issues with President Trump? Is there nothing there and she just got fired because she completely did a terrible job with this Diddy trial and it was an embarrassment to the Southern District of New York? Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. This poor thing. I feel bad for her, man. Maurene, she's just 10 years down the drain because she did a terrible job trying this Diddy case. We got a bunch of y'all in here. I don't think she should have been fired, just demoted. Firing a top prosecutor without reasoning should be concerning for everyone. That's a fair statement. That's a fair statement. We got a couple super chats I need to read, and then we will get on to our next topic. Shout out to Cash Money Cass in here. She did fail in this case, but she's also not wrong about the DOJ attacking lawyers all over the U.S. for not toting the line drawn by the current administration. Yeah, but here's the thing. With that statement, you can't have it both ways. We got to call it as we see it. So if we're going to say, okay, the current administration is bullying the federal government to do certain things, this and this and that, fine. If you have proof of that and you want to point to certain instances where that happened, okay. But we also have to point out and we have to talk about how this specific case, the one that Maurene Comey was last involved in, was brought forward with the charges that Diddy was found guilty of. We heard from Harvey Levin, who we know is an attorney and does some excellent work over there at TMZ, with the charges he was found guilty of. If he was charged with this at the state level, in a lot of states, and even in some of the states, he was found guilty of participating in transportation to engage in prostitution, it would have been a misdemeanor, right? Not only would it have been a misdemeanor, but the federal government would have never brought charges against Diddy if these were the only charges remaining. So if he only had the transportation to engage in prostitution, they would have said, we're going to let the states handle that. There's no point in bringing this guy up on federal indictments if we can't prove RICO and we can't prove trafficking, because that's what we do here. So we have a 98% success rate. So if you want to make that argument, fine. But I mean, come on, Maurene. This case was a sham. Now, I'm sure she'll find a job somewhere else. It'll be interesting to see what facts come out as a result of this. I'm sure the Department of Justice will have a statement based on her being let go, especially after 10 years of her service. But I mean, maybe she's just the fall guy or the fall woman in this instance for this sham of a case that was brought against Diddy. We've got Kara Hampton in the building with the 5 bomb. Says it's Thursday, almost Friday. Happy Friday Eve to everybody in here. I hope everyone is having a great day on purpose. Yes, Kara. And Kara's got that ingrained in my mind. You can ask Amy. I said it this morning. we were just talking about that. So thank you, Kara, for continuing that mindset. I love it. We got CPE in the building with the 5 bomb. Says happy Friday light. Friday light. I like that. He says, do the right thing, huh? Where have I heard that before? Anyone want to call the commissioner over there in Boston and see if he knows where we've heard that from? We'll leave him alone. Shout out to CPE. We've got Libby22 SC girl in here, said, my been absent feed. Libby, where you been at? And she dropped the 7 bomb as well. Good to see you in here, Libby. Thank you for the support as well. Wow. And shout out to everyone who's stopping by. It's dope to see all the green in the chat. Shout out to our members in here. We've got Shine On You Crazy Diamond is in here. Good morning. Says, oh, y'all are in Spain. That's dope. Shout out to being in Spain. We've also got, there's a couple other people I missed in here. But either way, good to see y'all. Let me see. Please, is that why she would never go after Trump? Maybe it wasn't her decision. Again, y'all know there's a pecking order. And I'm not saying that Maurene was at the top of the pecking order. I'm saying, listen, lady, you did not do your job in this last trial. I mean, hey, who knows? Maybe that could be the simple reason. After 10 years and you go down like this, 98% success rate, it is what it is. Shout the lurking feds. He says, hello, blogger. Amy says, hello, chatter. Don't call me a blogger. It's 2025. I don't do blogs. I get on YouTube and I talk and have conversations with y'all. Am I a blogger? Ugh. I don't like that. Like, why didn't we leave blogger in the 1990s and maybe even in the early 2000s? Good grief. Touch that like button. Y'all know what to do. ClassE took me into his office and said, do the right thing. There's only one person I'd say that to. The Orange Menace just announced he will pardon Diddy. Oh, come on now. Stop the cap. Now we're doing this, which he knew he was going to do anyway, because he's got a lot of money on to line his pockets. I promise you, Trump does not need Diddy's money. I think he's good there. I enjoy your YouTube presentations. It's so thank you. I appreciate you being here. Comey, the dad, was fired for not declaring loyalty to the president. He wasn't stranded in California, says Cynthia Hart's. Good to see you in here as well. Yeah, I want to be a content creator. What is a blogger? Ugh. Wrestler's mom is in here. No, don't say hello, blogger. Trump did not. Where did Trump say that he was going to pardon Diddy? I will be shocked if he said that. I'll be truly shocked. I don't think he's going to do that. There's no need for him to do that. Initially we heard, oh man, Diddy's facing 20 years after he was found guilty of 2 counts of the Mann Act, right? Or violating the Mann Act. And then recently we heard, oh, well, it's looking like the judge doesn't really know what's going on here. Judge AS is not sure what to do. So he might be facing, we'll say, maybe 10 years or so. Then we heard another update said, oh, now the prosecution's only asking for 3 to 5 years. He might be facing less than that. Now we heard from Harvey Levin looking at this that Diddy might not even do any jail time. So to say that President Trump is going to pardon Diddy, I just don't see a reason for him to do that. It doesn't make any sense. Diddy, he got himself in this situation. He already has a miracle. 2%, guys. Diddy is in the top 2% when it comes to these federal cases. I mean, he beat the most serious charges of trafficking and the RICO, obviously. I would, he'd just stay out of it. I don't think Trump has ever said he would pardon Diddy. I think that's a rumor from people who hate him. Well, if you hate our president, then y'all need to go somewhere else. Come on now. Blogger, absolutely not. You're the Dan Rather of Amy says legal analyst and morning show host, YouTube video editor, or Big Daddy. There we go. All works for me. I know that's right, Amy. Shout out to Amy. What a waste of time and money. He walks away. Oh, Libby said, you're the #1 blogger. Oh. Gross. But I'll take it. I'll take the compliment. Thank you. All right, a couple more comments, then we'll get into our next topic. Sorry, it came up in his news feed, and it said, yes, Trump will pardon Diddy after he heard something. Now, I don't know what it was that I didn't know what it was that I didn't click on it. Yeah, it's no. And he wasn't even charged with deleting Tupac. Hey, people say that the federal government, the reason they brought these charges is just as a setup to get Diddy on something else. Is that true? Who knows? I don't foresee that being the case, but what do I know? Again, I'm just the blogger, right, guys? Let's go ahead and get into this. Man, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm so sick of this confusing, conflicting story about this grand juror, but we've got to talk about it because I don't know if y'all feel this way. I have no idea what's going on with this grand juror, and I think there's a reason for that. Obviously, we talked about yesterday in previous videos that it could be because the federal government's trying to keep things quiet, and they worked out a deal with this grand juror to get more information. That's a rumor. We don't know that that's true. But now when it comes to this grand juror that was looking at information or was privy to information or leaking information related to the FBI's investigation into the Karen Reed trial, we're seeing that now these reports are doubling down on this whole connection to Karen Reed. After we've continued to hear, no, it's not about Karen Reed. Change your title. It's not about Karen Reed. No, this has to do with something else. It's not about Karen Reed. We see a lot of these news outlets doubling down. So we're going to get into it. We're actually going to hear from Turtle Boy, and he wrote a whole article, which I'll leave a link to in the description, talking about why he feels this isn't connected to Karen Reed at all and what he's seeing from his side. So check this out. What does Fox News say? Grand juror charged with leaking confidential information in the Karen Reed case. What? And this was just, so they're doubling and tripling down, guys. This was just posted this morning. So they had time to get their story straight. They had time for you guys to go to the comment section and write them emails about, and stop saying this is about Karen Reed. And they're still doubling and tripling down. So is there something there? There has to be. What do they say? Jessica Leslie agrees to plea deal with 1-day sentence after sharing sealed testimony details. A grand juror in a federal proceeding related to the Karen Reed case. What? In suburban Boston has been charged with leaking confidential information about closed door hearings. Jessica Leslie has agreed, as we know, to the plea deal that includes a single-day sentence. And that's it. She just has to do 1 day in jail, for which she will be credited time served according to court documents, plus 2 years of probation, the court records show. The case was filed on July 11th, and she signed the plea 3 days later. Again, we're not going to go into the details, and they're going to get the background of Karen Reed. So again, we've got Yahoo News. Says the same thing. The same article for Fox News. They reposted it. And it says the same thing. Grand juror charged with leaking confidential information in the Karen Reed trial. I don't know what to believe at this point, guys. Is it related? Is it not? Are we going to say every single mainstream media outlet is unreliable? I don't know. But again, I'm fair on both sides. Y'all know Turtle Boy has been on top of this. We're going to hear a lot from him today. And what does he say? So he posts pictures from FBI Boston. And they say here, following an FBI investigation, Jessica Leslie of Drake. Y'all told me how to pronounce this, but I forgot. I apologize. has been charged and has agreed to plead guilty to leaking the grand jury information to unauthorized individuals, plural. And then we have someone over on X says, so I'm guessing the feds are going to give Jessica Leslie a plea deal, offering less time for the names of those who provided the witness list, who leaked Karen Reed or her legal team. We don't know. Going out on a limb and saying more indictments will follow. And she's got pictures of Karen Reed and TB getting arrested. So let's just hear it from Turtle Boy himself. What does he say? He says the Karen Reed trolls are getting their hopes up for nothing again. Here's a written explanation detailing a lot of what I went over last night on this live stream. Nothing that Jessica Leslie leaked about the federal grand jury was ever sent to me or Karen Reed. This is what TB is saying. As much as I wish it was. She did indeed tell some of her girlfriends about it, but the reason she got caught and they went through her phone was a tweet about the CDL scandal indictments. Sorry, but I'm not going down for this, and neither is anyone else. So let's go ahead and get into this article from Turtle Boy. Again, it's posted over on his website, TB Daily News, and I will leave a link to this in the description. What does he say? Canton cover-up part 524. Grand juror who leaked information on federal investigation into the McAlberts only told friends and got busted by a tweet about the state police CDL scandal. Here we go. Yesterday's big news was that the FBI charged a federal juror in the investigation into the Karen Reed case. So again, it was involving the Karen Reed case. So we've got multiple people saying, yes, this is in relation to Karen Reed. So this juror, as TB says, the federal juror in the investigation into the Karen Reed case was leaking sealed information. Jessica Leslie, 34-year-old woman from, hopefully y'all can help me pronounce this, Dracut. I think it's Dracut. Pled guilty in exchange for a sentence of 1 day in jail, which she had already served. This has caused a huge uproar online from people who are thirsty for new content. Hey, I mean, guilty as charged. I'm a content creator. What can I say? And predictably, the reactions have been split along tribal lines as all parties view the developments through the lens of confirmation bias. Those who believe Karen Reed is innocent view the charges as evidence that the federal government view that as evidence that the federal investigation into the McAlberts and the DA's office is ongoing. While those who believe Karen Reed is guilty believe it is evidence that Karen Reed and Turtle Boy are the ones being investigated. That makes no sense. Also, he posts pictures of and receipts of some of the people who were saying, oh, this is what's happening. Look out. Karen Reed, the FBI's coming for you. Turtle Boy, the FBI's coming for you. We saw it. We went over in the last video. He also says, I'm here to let both sides know that this is likely just a huge nothing burger. He says it's likely. We don't know because we're not involved in the federal investigation, right? Many believed it was suspicious that this woman only was sentenced to 1 day deemed served. They have opined that this is evidence that Jessica Leslie offered up information on someone else in exchange for this leniency. It's possible. But the fact of the matter is that all she did was gossip about the grand jury to some girlfriends, and the feds don't think it's a serious crime. But they also want to send a message by publicly smearing her like this. Now, again, this is his opinion. We don't know this for sure. We don't know any of this for sure because we're not a part of this federal investigation. We didn't write up her deal. We weren't in the conversation she had between her, the judge, the prosecutors in this instance. We don't know. So he says, here's what actually happened. In early 2024, an anonymous Twitter account run by a woman I spoke with last night and verified the identity of posted that a federal grand jury had indicted half a dozen state troopers for accepting bribes in exchange for commercial driver's licenses for applicants who were previously denied. Days later, on January 30th, 2024, the Department of Justice announced the indictments, but it was not public knowledge when the anonymous Twitter account posted about it. Uh-oh. That's not good. The feds saw this tweet, which means it was sent to them by someone, or they monitored random accounts with less than 1K followers. Most likely someone sent it to them. But again, who would send that to them? Just be like, hey, just so you guys know, this person leaked information. The feds found the woman who tweeted the previously sealed information about the pending indictments in the CDL scandals and confronted her about it. The woman was friends with a grand juror named Jessica Leslie and were able to read the messages between them, confirming that Leslie was the source of this information. So she got busted. Right? Her own friend snitched on her. Leslie has been sitting on the grand jury since August of 2024 and was removed from the grand jury on March of 2024 after they found out she had been messaging her friends about the grand jury. The grand jury Leslie sat on heard lots of cases that were brought in front of them, many of which did not end up being indicted, including the CDL investigation and the Karen Reed federal investigation. The feds have Leslie's phones, so they were able to see everyone she leaked information to. They would be able to see that she spoke to her friends several times about the cases she was sitting in on. So stupid. Oh my gosh. Including the Reed case. This is why she's in trouble. She gabbed to her girlfriends in private chats about the grand jury. The initial investigation into this woman was not over anything that was leaked about the Reed case. Well, are we sure about that? Are we sure about that? The initial investigation into this woman was not over anything that was leaked about the Reed case. The feds found out she had been privately messaging her friends about the Reed case after they took her phone. Okay, the nexus of the investigation was the public tweet about the CDL scandal indictments, which the public was not supposed to have any knowledge of at the time it was tweeted about by one of Leslie's friends. But here's my issue with this statement. Okay, we're going to say, yes, the initial investigation into this woman was not about the Karen Reed's case, but that doesn't mean there wasn't something leaked about the Karen Reed case, right? Because TB saying the initial investigation into this woman was not over anything that was leaked about the Karen Reed case. The initial investigation, that doesn't mean they didn't get her phone and found out that she was selling drugs on 23rd and 4th every Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Maybe they just let that go. That also doesn't mean that there wasn't leaked information about the Karen Reed case. And then he's even saying that the feds found out she had been privately messaging her friends about the Reed case after they took her phone. The nexus of this investigation was public tweets about the CDL scandal indictments, which the public was not supposed to have any knowledge of at the time it was tweeted about one of Leslie's friends. Okay, fine. So I think we can all agree, based on this information, that this investigation or her charges weren't coming directly from Karen Reed, allegedly. But that doesn't mean they didn't involve it either. We don't know what they found. I haven't seen any evidence from the federal government. I don't know for sure that there wasn't information leaked about Karen Reed. Who knows? Leslie's friend who tweeted about the CDL indictments told me that the FBI visited her house with a printout of the tweet and took her phone. This is confirmation that they didn't begin this investigation over anything related to Karen Reed. Skeptics are doubting my reporting that the CDL case was how this woman was caught. I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying it could be related to Karen Reed as well. So two things can be true. Pointing out that the Boston Globe reported that Leslie's leaked information, including the names of various witnesses who appeared before the grand jury, the substance of their testimony, and other evidence presented to the grand jury. One, he says Jessica Leslie may well have leaked information about the Reed grand jury to her friends, but it doesn't change the fact that she got caught because of the public tweets about the CDLs. But again, I will say That doesn't mean she wasn't in trouble because of leaking information about Karen Reed. We just don't know. The names of witnesses who testified in front of the grand jury were well known because multiple sources reported to me that they saw Jennifer McCabe, Colin Albert, Brian Albert, and others walk into Joe Moakley's federal courthouse and linger in the hallways all day. Jurors are not allowed to leak information about testimony, but witnesses can. The McAlberts have continuously leaked information about their grand jury testimony through their spokesperson, Kevin Plevin Linehan. I've never heard of him. He has repeatedly stated that Josh Levy confronted witnesses with a printout of one of my Canton cover-up articles. Okay. And that's the instance there. Very interesting. My take on this is I'm not going to read his whole article because I want y'all to go over to his website and support him. So again, I'll leave the link in the description. My thinking here is I think we can somewhat agree that the initial investigation into Jessica Leslie was not because of Karen Reed. I think that's what's being implied here. And that's maybe what we're seeing is unclear from a lot of other outlets that are reporting on this. But with that being said, we don't know for sure that there wasn't information shown or information leaked when it comes to the investigation of Karen Reed. And if that information was shared and who it was shared with and who has it. And is she continuing to work with the FBI on that? Y'all have to let me know what you think about this in the comments and in the chat. Very interesting stuff. Shout out to TB for this great article. I'm going to drop it in the chat for y'all. Oh, I can't because the URL is too long. Ah, that sucks. Okay, so I'll just drop his website. I could make it into a shorter URL, but I got a show I'm trying to do here. Y'all go check out TB Daily News. Amy said he prefers journalists. Yeah, I think he'd say he's a journalist. I'm confused. That's all I can say. It's very confusing. And it's hard to look at because there's so much information that we don't have. And again, you guys can go through and read the full article of TB's explanation, but we don't know. There's so much we don't know. My brother had a CDL. Trucking is a very competitive industry in trucking, and that's concerning that they were given out unearned. I see what you're saying. Yep. The feds will be watching her for the next 2 years. Yeah, that's silly though. I mean, I guess it's just because she can't watch anything. You said that's a good point. Yeah. I mean, we don't know what was going on. What are y'all? Let me see. The mostest bestest host with the mostest awesome channel. Thank you. Amy says a blogger is more like someone who does it in writing or in video versus doing a live. Yeah, I'm man. As y'all can tell, Amy said writing. Reading and writing is like a second language to me. So I definitely think I could be classified as a blogger. It just sounds like it's from 1985 or something. I don't speak reading. I will take Dr. Turtleboy's word on this. Oh, well. What? Okay. All right. Again, I think you guys should do your own research. If you want to take somebody else's word for it, that's fine. I think TB is heavily involved in this and he has his own opinions, but I think for me, I'm going to need to see some more evidence before I take anybody's word, but nothing wrong with that either. It's a combo of both, in my opinion. Oh, you're talking about Maurene Comey. Trump hates her dad and has been waiting to get rid of her. Her terrible prosecution of Diddy and the money that was spent gave them a reason. Hey, that's fair too. You know, there are some places where people are just looking to get rid of you. You're not a blogger, you're a vlogger, meaning video blogger. I'll take that. I'll take a vlogger, but dang. A blogger. I don't like it. Sean P is in here. My dog has been a member for 9 months. Shout out to Sean P. He said, doing a great job covering all this mess. Keep exposing the judicial system, etc. Thank you, Sean P. And thank you for not calling it the justice system. I'm not calling it that here anymore. Sometimes there's justice. It seems like from what we've been covering, the majority of the time, there is no justice. It's about prosecutors getting charges. It's about DAs making sure, you know, they can get some of these RICO charges under their belt and build up their resume. And then it's defense attorneys, no matter what the person did, doing their job and trying to present their case. This judicial system is a mess. So I think it's very well said. Yeah, I'm out on the justice system here. I believe we did eventually see what the FBI found because they gave their findings to the prosecution and the defense. The defense used some of it during both trials. It's about prosecutors and their egos. It really is. Y'all know, you know the saying about indictments and indicting ham sandwiches. It's a real thing. So is that justice that you can sit in Rice Street for 1 minute and be innocent? That's justice? I can be completely innocent, do nothing wrong, be misidentified. And if I get picked up on a Friday night, I might spend 2 days in Rice Street. What? And I'm like, my bad. I thought you were Tyrone. You know how it is. You know, the brothers, we're in Atlanta. It's hard to tell. Sorry, man. Have a great day. And it happens. This is not something I'm making up. So I don't want to go down this path, though. What's the solution? I don't know. I like talking about solutions, so I won't complain about it. Kara Hampton in here has been a member for 5 months. Says, it doesn't feel like 5 months for me. Seems like I just got here. Always excited to get the notification of a live feed. Oh, shout out to Kara. Thank you, ClassE, for all you do. Thank y'all for being here supporting. Nearly 1,000 of y'all in here and 80% of you have liked the video. Guys, I don't ask for much, but if you could, please make sure that you like the video. All right. Thank y'all to everyone who did so far. Amy breaking it down as she always does. Someone who hosts a morning news show on the live stream is commonly called a host. The general term for the person leading the show, the anchor, especially if it's news focused. The presenter, often used in British or international context, live stream hosts specifically to a digital platform broadcaster if they're regularly delivering information to an audience, on-air personality, if they have a strong personal brand or style, morning show host. If the time slot is emphasized, she's a morning show host on Stream Now Live. And then content creator or streamer in more casual and independent settings. Amy does not miss. Y'all see this? Shadow Fox. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Shadow Fox in the building. It's not justice if people are getting killed in pre-trial holding cells. Shadow Fox. You missed a key word here. Missed a very key word here. Not that guilty people deserve to die and be killed in pretrial holding cells, but the word you're missing is innocent. It's not justice if innocent people are getting killed in pretrial holding cells. And guess what? Here on this channel, we believe, and the law does say that you are innocent until proven guilty. A lot of innocent people have been killed awaiting trial, awaiting seeing a judge, awaiting a hearing, awaiting, etc. We have a man who was involved in the YSL trial, not guilty on all counts, defended himself in jail, had to sit in jail for a longer time because he defended himself in jail, because he was in jail for a crime that he was found not guilty of. That's justice? Come on, man. It's all about money. Prison systems is a business. The more people locked up, the more money made. Absolutely. Let me see. How about this? You're a YouTuber. I'm just a dude, man. Can y'all just call me a dude? That's right. Like I said, but the rather of YouTube, Amy said, how about this? He's a boss. That's right, Amy. Amy knows what's up. Shout out to Amy. Georgia cops scare me too. After watching the YSL trial, it seems they kind of go rogue over there. I don't have an issue with APD. I don't have an issue with the Georgia police officers here. I think it's once you're viewed a certain way, I think any police officer is going to look at you differently. So if they pull up your name and they see XYZ, if you're in a certain area and you're doing XYZ, if you're here, if you're there, then that's why I stay inside. That's why I stay inside. I'm not out here running around the streets because it's not worth it. They're not as bad as Boston cops. I'm sure there's some cops here in Fulton County in Atlanta that are worse than Boston cops. It happens everywhere. They're human, guys. So it's not about one area versus another area versus another area. Most police are highly trained professionals. Yeah, I think that might be a stretch too. I don't know if I'd say most, but there are a lot of them. Again, I don't want to get into it. I respect and appreciate our police officers. Shout out to them. Dang, I had another thing I wanted to go over, but because we started so late, I might have to bail on y'all today, and we might have to save it for Friday. This has been one of the shortest live streams we did, but y'all know we don't miss. We will be back tomorrow. I'm gonna do a better job and actually show up at a decent time tomorrow. So thank y'all for the love and support. Thank you to everyone who liked the video. We've got 1,200 of you in here and over 800 of you liked the video. Guys, if you're just joining us and you want to watch the rewind, please make sure you do that. I'll also be dropping clips from this live stream as well. Also, make sure you like the video on your way out, guys. Likes are free and it really does help the channel continue to grow. That's all I ask for. You guys can watch and like the video. That's it. Hopefully you all have a great rest of your afternoon. Big shout out to everyone who went the extra mile and drop super chats over there. Shout out to Les Cleaver, Kara Hampton, CPE, Libby22, SC Girl, my dog, Sean P. And as always, the awesome, amazing Amy E is up in here. All right. Hope y'all have a great rest of your afternoon. I appreciate every single one of you. If you haven't yet subscribed, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. Y'all know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go on. Peace. Y'all are amazing.